Hey folks, DIY Dan here. Welcome back to my channel, and if you haven't clicked subscribe or click the notification bell, do that now. I truly appreciate it. Today, just a little bit, again, if you're new to the channel, thank you for being here. I'm not a mechanic, but I try to do basic mechanical stuff. Sometimes it's a little more complicated, but usually I like to take you along with me, and you get to see where I make mistakes and where I do things correctly, and we all learn from it. So, and it's not solely with cars. I try to do other things. I've got one other video where I was getting the tire off of a lawn tractor, which was quite an experience. I'll link it below if you want to see it, or on the sides. It'll be somewhere on here at the end of the video that you can take a look at that, and as well as my other videos, my other car repair videos. I do try not to just limit it to cars, but right now, except for the lawn tractor, it's kind of been limited to cars, and today will be no exception. As you can tell by the title, we're going to be replacing the idler pulley and the tensioner pulley on my 2007 Dodge Magnum RT. It's got the big 5.7 liter Hemi in it. I replaced the water pump and the thermostat on it. I did not film that. It was supposed to be I thought it's pretty relatively straightforward. It's up front. I thought it was going to be a quick little thing, and it turned out to take me, the novice, about 4 hours to do. Part of that was trying to figure out how to drain my coolant, since I couldn't get my petcock open to get it to work. It's the fun of plastic radiators. So I'm kind of glad I didn't film that, but it is relatively straightforward if you can drain your coolant out. The only advice I would give to you on that is make sure you have a diagram of how your serpentine belt goes, so you can put it back on, or take a picture like I did. I took a picture and was able to put it back on. We're actually going to be taking it off today to change those two pulleys. I thought I had bought them at the time I bought the water pump, and I did. So anyway, this is what we're going to be doing. This is should be relatively straightforward, pretty easy. It's just a few bolts, taking the belt off, unfastening the fasteners, removing the old pulleys, putting on the new pulleys, put the fasteners back on, putting the belt on. It shouldn't be that difficult. Knock on wood. Of course, it'll probably be, that's the way my luck is. As those of you know, or I'm sure plenty of you out there know, if it wasn't for bad luck, you wouldn't have any luck at all. Sometimes that's the way I feel I am. But let's get started. All right, first thing we're going to do is take out the engine cover, take off the air intake hose, disconnect the mass airflow sensor. So this just lifts off. As you can see, put that to the side. Next, we'll disconnect the mass airflow sensor. It's just a little tab that pulls out like that, and then push down, unplug. Get that out of the way. Be careful with that. It's sensitive, and no sense in replacing it. There's two screw heads on these bands. Yeah, you can either use a flathead screwdriver, or in my case a 8mm, which is what I prefer to use. Let's loosen that up. And same thing right up here at the throttle body. That should come right off. Want to, you can remove the whole air box, but it's not necessary for this job. Now, if you're doing the actual water pump, I would say take the whole air box off, just to give you the room. All right, protect this. Let me get my light. That is your mass airflow sensor. See how it comes in there? You might not be able to see that. There you go. That's very delicate, so be very gentle with it. Put that off to the side for now. Now is the good stuff. Let me move you so you can see better. Alright, so here's the two things we're talking about. We're talking about this. This right here is your tensioner pulley. And this is your water pump. As you can see, I replaced it on December 1st. And right in here, where this top radiator hose comes in, that is where your thermostat is. Mine was all messed up. I actually had a trouble code being sent. The money light was on, and it was a P0128, so which was a my basically saying that my thermostat was stuck open, and which between the two, that's the better of the two problems with your thermostat, because if it's stuck closed, your engine's going to overheat. But if it's stuck open, you'll never have to worry about it overheating, but you'll also never get up to full operating temperature. So if you have to have a thermostat problem, that's the better of the two problems. So I knew I was going to replace the thermostat. I've got 113,000 miles on this car. So I figured, while I'm going to have to drain part of the system anyway, I might as well change the water pump, so I did. This is the idler pulley, and this is the other pulley we're changing. I was getting some pulley noise. I thought it might have been from the water pump pulley, which is right here, but I think it's either here. When I took this off, it's you know, it's crusty aluminum. It's you know, 12 years old, if I did my math right. So they're relatively cheap parts. I'll show you the parts here. So this is the part number. This is the idler pulley, made in China. Sorry about that. AC Delco, not a sponsor. There we go. Is that number's relevant? And then this is the well, actually that was the tensioner pulley. This is the idler pulley. Again, not a sponsor. They weren't too expensive. Alright, so the first thing we're going to have to do is take the serpentine belt off. Now I replaced this serpentine belt off replaced a few months ago, so it's brand new, so we're going to reuse it. But if it's been a while, been old, these grooves on the bottom feel really deep. That means it's worn and you need to buy a new one. This is a good time to replace it also. Also, if you're feeling froggy, you can clean out your throttle body. I did a little bit of that last time when I changed the water pump. So you need a 3/8" ratchet. There's a little square right here. You don't need any kind of socket attached to it. Put it in here and you take the tension off and be able to get the pulley. I'm going to sit you down here. See if I can do this without dropping yet. So I have a breaker bar, but it's a 1/2" breaker bar. The manual recommends that you take out the fan here and all that. I didn't want to do that, so I make my own breaker bar with my 3/8" ratchet and a pipe. You'll see in a second. So we're going to put this on here. Again, remember, if you don't know how to tighten or put your belt on, take a picture of it, get a diagram off a website, whatever you need to do. Make sure I turn it the right way. I always forget which way it turns. I think it's the other way. Alright, so got my ratchet on. Again, make sure you know which way your pulleys, your belt's going. Please, I can't stress that enough, because if you can't figure out how to put your belt on, your car is not going anywhere. Alright, I've got this rod right here. It's going to give me my leverage. And we're going to push, see, we take the tension off. And now you can remove the belt from any one of these sprockets and then ease this back. Don't let it slam back. as you can cause damage. There we go. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. So you really don't even need to get the belt all the way out of the way, but we'll take it off to the point where we can get the pulleys off. We need to get off. So we'll leave it around the crank pulley, and I'll just push this belt down here for now. Sorry folks, didn't mean to vibrate you like that. Now, both these bolts on these pulleys are 15 millimeters. So you can get your 15 millimeter and go ahead and undo those. Remember, lefty loosey, righty tighty. And I'm just going to go ahead over to this one while we're here. Where'd it go? There it is. And go ahead and loosen this one too. Since we're here, might as well. Alright. This one tends to need a little bit more encouragement. Dinner time. The tintinabulation of the bells. Let's see if this one will turn by hand. No, not quite. Like I said, this one's a little bit more tenacious. It wants to stay in there. It doesn't want to come out by hand. So we'll do it all the way. So I'll continue this off camera and we'll come back when I've got them out. Okay, so I didn't want to rob you of the fun of victory due to getting these pulleys off, so I loosened it up them both all the way till they can be hand done. It shouldn't take me too long. There we go. It's out. So pull them both out at the same time. There you go. And basically the screw goes in. Make sure when you put it back in it forces down on this race right here. Because if you touch any part of this, that's going to keep it from rotating and you're going to mess up your bearing and ruin your pulley. We'll move over now to our friend Mr. Tensioner Pulley. And we'll pull him out the rest of the way. Sorry, I'm blocking the view there. Can't seem to get a good grip with my hands in the way here. This pulley is spring-loaded, but it's safe as long as you keep it together. Don't take the whole pulley apart, otherwise, like I said, it is under tension. But removing this whole housing is not under tension. So as long as the belt's not on it, that is. If you remove the belt, then you're good to go. Almost there. It's another long bolt. I do not have the torque specs for these, but there you go. So this is our idler pulley, our tensioner pulley. I'm sorry, I keep calling it that. This is what the other side looks like. And you shouldn't have to, it's a unit, so I guess you technically could buy just this, but it's probably the same pulley as the other one, but since this car is sold, this part wasn't really that expensive, so I'm just going to replace the whole thing. One thing to note, and I'll show you this when I install it. See this nipple, for lack of a better term, there is a corresponding hole right here. Get my other light here so you can see it better, right here. that nipple needs to go in that hole. That's what keeps this from rotating around. This part right here is actually part of the water pump. All right, let's get the new parts. All right, as you can see, here's the new part. I always compare it to the old one. Here's the old one. Here's the new one. Old, new. Ooh, you see that stuff falling down? That's from the old one. See, parts look the same. Got almost the same markings. The difference is being this is the original equipment one came on the car. This is as close to OEM as you're going to get. But other than that, they look exactly the same. This is the square that you put your ratchet in to take the tension off. So we're good to go. So, and again, nipple here needs to go in that hole. So let's take a look and get this installed. All right. So I'm gonna put this down here. Again, we're gonna match this, that hole. Go in like that, and then we'll take the same bolt. There's nothing wrong with it. So we're just gonna reuse it. It's not one of these replacement ones we gotta replace every time we use it. And it's definitely, if you're a power tool fan, go for it, but you want to definitely start this by hand. Anytime you screw a screw into aluminum, or sorry, a fastener into aluminum, you definitely want to start that by hand. And then if you want to power tool it in, you can. There we are, that's started. Now we'll move over to our other pulley. Move my light here. There we go. So there's our other pulley location. Again, I've already compared the two pulleys. They are exactly the same. As far as appearance, this one's got a red ring, or the other one had a blue, but other than that, they are exactly the same. So there's our pulley. There is no, either way is fine. There is no certain way it needs to go in. Just remember what I said. See that lip on this bolt right there? That lip's got to go into the race, which you pre-put it in there. And if you want, you can test it. Make sure it still spins. Because if you torque this down and it doesn't spin, you're not going anywhere. You'll tear up your belt. You'll immediately smell burning rubber, and life will be bad. At least mechanically speaking, it will be. Alright, so I'm going to roll this down as far as I can. It also fits on the fixture itself. The pulley does. So we're going to run this down by hand. Again, you're going into aluminum, so at least start it by hand, but I don't have room to put power tools in there, so I get to do it the old-fashioned way. So when we come back, I'll have it all tightened up, but we'll go from there. Alright, so we're on the last few turns. Maybe. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. There we go. Alright, so now see, I'm torquing it down a little bit, tightening it down. It doesn't need to be all, and check to make sure it spins freely, and it does. Both ways, even though it's only going to be spinning one way, but see, it doesn't need to be super tight. I would also recommend, I don't know if I mentioned it at the start, but using a 6-point socket, not a 12-point. You use a 12-point socket on these bolts and you'll round them off. So stick with the 6-point. Alright, and this one's the same. I've got it down to almost tight. So we'll just finish tightening it up. Again, same thing. Make sure it's snug. Don't need to stand on it. There we go. That's it. All done. Now comes the fun part. That is putting this serpentine belt back on. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to film that, but I will certainly try. See if I can get the, you know, I'll try it one-handed. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it done one-handed, but I'll give it a shot. It's already on. This for those. This is the crank pulley, this rusty one. So the belt, again, this only applies to these type engines. So it comes up, it's curved over here, and now it's going to come around this brand new tensioner pulley we just put in. So it's actually got to come around from the inside here. Set you down for a minute. See if I can do this without knocking you into the engine compartment. Alright, there we go. A good rule of thumb with any kind of serpentine belt is that if it's the groove side, it goes down to match with these. If it's the smooth side, it goes on a smooth pulley. So that's always a good way you can kind of check yourself to see if you're going the right way with that pulley or that belt on that pulley. So there we go. It's on there. Well, it was on there. Right. What I might do is link in the description a guide to this particular path with this belt. That way you can see. So from there, I've got it on the idler pull or the tensioner pulley. It's going to come around onto my alternator, which is right back here. I just put it on the alternator pulley. Get my right there. Now it is going to come up and over that brand new idler pulley we just put on. Actually under. Apologize. See, I'm trying to do it from memory. But luckily, since I left the belt where it belongs, it's kind of conformed to that because I haven't started my car today, so it's kind of. Now, the fun part is going to be this, which is I gotta put it on these. That's my AC pulley down here, so we're gonna get it on there first. Maybe, if I'm lucky. Okay, yeah, there we go. I have put it on my AC pulley. The only pulley it's got left, and actually, you know what? Smarter thing to do. Let's see if I can do this without screwing up everything. Is I'm going to make this alternator pulley the last pulley. This would be easier to get to. So I'm going to take it off that pulley, and now it should be easier to run around this power steering pulley. There we go. Alright. So power steering pulley, AC pulley, tensioner, water pump pulley, idler pulley. It's already around the crankshaft pulley. You just have to trust me on that. So now we'll line it up with the AC pulley. Or I'm sorry, not the AC pulley, the alternator pulley. Make sure it's on everywhere, and all I'm going to do is set you down, You're going to watch me do that tensioner, but you're going to have to trust that I'm putting the belt on the alternator pulley. How about that? So, put that back on. Alright. Put my extension bar on. Boom. Release the tension. Now I'm reaching over to grab the belt and to put it on the alternator pulley. There we go. Now before I release the tension, it's misaligned on my water pump pulley here, so I'm going to line it all up before I release the tension. There we go. And you also want to check and make sure it's lined up on all the other pulleys, which it's not lined up on this. I had to move y'all out of the way a little bit here. It's not lined up on my AC pulley completely, so we're going to have to get that done. I have to move y'all out of the way for a minute. I don't know how much of that you can see, but I already feel the difference in that. There we go. All right, I am checking. Everything looks like it's in the grooves they're supposed to be in. So I'm going to release the tension. Turn it back around so you're straight up again. Take our ratchet out. Come on, ratchet. Don't fall again. I said it in one of my other videos, but whoever invented that magnet thingy to get tools and stuff out from the engine compartment, God bless you, sir, or madam. Alright, check your tension. Everything's all lined up. Everything looks good. Perfect. Now, we'll do the startup. Well, actually, no, we won't, because we've got to put all the components back first. Don't start your car up without the mass airflow sensor attached, otherwise you'll get a money light on. So let me go take care of all that real quick, and we'll give it a start. All right, folks, there it is. Again, this is an 8mm. And it goes into the air box, and then this attaches to the throttle body. Again, another 8mm. One thing we have left to do is reattaching the mass airflow sensor plug. It's simple. It just plugs in, and you push this tab forward. That locks it, keeps it in there. Again, to remove it, pull that out. Since I didn't show that at the beginning, and push these two tabs down, and you just pull it right out. And it goes back in the opposite, and then boom, it's locked in. This way when you start the car for the first time, you won't get a money light on. But there's the whole thing all together. There's your pulley. We'll go set you guys up so you can have a good front row seat for the start. Make sure we did it right. This will be the time to figure out whether we did it right or not. Ready? Let's go start it up. I'm going to let you watch this pulley, the idler pulley. It's probably a little easier to see what's going on that than the other pulley there. So on the left side of your screen, top idler pulley, this next to it, that's the water pump pulley, crank pulley. So I can't get the tensioner pulley in, but I'll move it once I start it up. So here we go. Get ready for that heavy thunder. Normally at this time I would have a sweep, and I do not have a sweep. Like that pulley is running well. Here's the other one. Full center pulley. No issues with that. Holding nice. Not a sound. What I was looking for. So awesome. All right, there it is. Your tensioner pulley and your idler pulley replacement. Boom, that took what, 10 minutes maybe? Even the off-camera stuff didn't take long. It's just, it was boring, and you can watch somebody else unscrew a fastener if you want. I've done it in my other videos trying to cut down the time here, but that's basically it. All I really have left to do is put the engine cover back on, but you don't need to see that either. So let me know in the comments what you think. Anything else that's in my wheelhouse anyway. If you have suggestions and stuff you want to see, constructive criticism, tell me what you like, what you don't like, and I'll try to do it if I can afford it. You know, all this stuff is maintenance stuff. I'm not souping my cars up yet or anything. Maybe someday when I have disposable income, which I don't have right now. I'm pretty sure everybody can sympathize with that. So I work on my wife's van, my car. I have one video of my wife's 2011 Honda Odyssey. I did a brake job, front brake job with that. That included rotors and stuff. So if you want to see that, it'll be down below, or it'll be in the description. I mean, not the description, but on my channel. Please go to that, subscribe. It helps out a lot. So again, this is DIY Dan. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.